Welcome to Life Plus Plus, where we aim to add more value to life by sharing knowledge, life lessons, and combined experiences from our friends, colleagues, and associates. In each episode, we'll be talking about real life issues and things that are important to you. So if there's anything you want to discuss, leave them in the comment section below or email us at lifeplusplus@thethrowdown.com. The link will be in the description. This episode is sponsored by Kososhi Clothing. Welcome to episode 4. I am Lambo the Virus. And with me today, I've got the multi-talented, most dapper DJ in the UK, DJ Gabe. How you doing, bro?
How you doing? You're the multi-talented. I did say that before. So you're the man of many talents, as I've just recently figured out. You're a producer, you're editor, you're a videographer, all good stuff. It's good to see you. You're looking well at the same time.
Same here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's kind of strange that we actually are in touch, but we're only in touch on social media.
We're so close, but yet so far.
It's crazy, man. This new age that we're in.
Yes.
But what's new? What's been happening to you?
Oh, yes, a lot of stuff is happening. I'm just thinking, I think I'm slowly getting to that stage in my sort of, can I call it a career? Where I'm just taking a bit of a back seat and let the sort of younger ones take, over, and they just give them a bit of guidance and that good stuff. So I think I'm doing less DJing, less outing, and more relaxing.
How is it now that you're more or less taking a step back? Is it something you miss in regards to how active you were? Is it something you really want to retire from?
So I think I've taken on a slightly different trajectory. So I think what I want to do is kind of empower people. I think I like that empowering position where I can share my knowledge, give advice, suggestions, and that to me is more gratifying and satisfactory rather than actually doing it, going out there and doing the DJing and doing this and doing that, So I think I'm getting a lot of satisfaction from doing that particular role rather than just being that DJ.
Yeah, that's a good thing to hear. Yeah. The thing with people where we're from, who are in our age bracket,
sure,
something like this would never happen now. In regards to taking a step back to try to empower the next generation to actually start taking over from now. You have to, Niger, you always have to be the main man.
Yes, because I don't know what it is, but I just still feel people like want to know, because once you've built that brand or once you've come up and you're that person that is well known, that everyone wants to deal with you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Anything is second best. They want to deal with your authentic. Yeah. They want to deal with your authentic Lambo the Virus. Anything else they don't want to know. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I just don't know,
Is it the Nigerian ego?
Yeah, and I think it's high time we started educating people, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because there is a lot more to be learned from the next generation, and there's a lot. I mean, when you look at the Nigerian politics, the people in power are very of a certain age, and they're not. The younger ones are, they come in dribs and drabs. There should be a new, a new league of younger, charismatic, dynamic people coming in, and have people empowering them.
Yes, agreed.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Funny you say that, because I think it was about an hour ago, a friend of mine in Newcastle, TJ, he's a friend of the show, and he'll be on sometime soon. Yeah. He sent me a video clip of the Nigerian ambassador to the US.
Right. Oh, yes, I saw that.
84.
Wow. Now, that's scary, isn't it? Because he should be enjoying the fruits of his labor, right, at that age. And he should be just kicking back, taking a step back and letting his children.
So is it something that's unique to Africa or unique to Nigeria?
I think I'll say so. I think it's that fear of letting go. Because when you let go, what do you have? I don't know. And obviously there's something that needs to be said about you letting go and you not be. So, I mean, as an individual, you need to be able to kind of make sure that, as you are going through or leaving a legacy, you make sure you're empowering people along the way. Because if you don't not doing that, that's why people don't let go, because during their time, they're not empowering people along the way. So they can't really relax because they're always that main guy. Going back to what we said earlier, because they're always that main guy, they haven't really kind of showed people the way along the way of how to be that main guy as well. That's what I think anyway.
I agree. Because it's the same thing with the artists back home.
Yes.
The new generation is, I believe the reason why the longevity is a bit more prolonged for them so far is because they've learned from the mistakes that the people of my generation made.
Yes.
People of my generation didn't really sign any new acts, and actually the ones they signed, they didn't really pump in any kind of financial or physical support for those people to actually get them to the point where they were sort of on the same level.
Yes.
And the new generation, they're doing it.
I agree, but there's also something about being an artist and also managing another artist at the same time, because you always have to surround yourself with a good team of people, where you have to focus on one thing at the same time. So you're either being the artist, or you've got a team who can support others being the artist and supporting them at the same time. Yeah. So you can't manage two at the same time. That's what I think. So you have a solid team around you. If you want to empower someone, have a good team around you and be able to kind of, have that team and also support the artist that you're bringing up. Yeah. If he needs to feature, if you want to show him how to produce or how to project their voice, how to kind of have a stage presence, all that good stuff. Yeah. Be able to do that, but with a team around you, so that when it's time for you to focus on your craft, you can actually do that 100%.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that's true. Because the intention might be right, like you're saying, but because you're taking on too much, it won't actually help.
Oh yeah. So I've heard of stories of artists who sign other artists to their label, and with the best will in the world, they've tried to push them and they've featured on their songs and the song. But the funny thing about the feature is that the feature they've actually featured, they've dominated because they have such a dominant presence. Yeah. They've actually dominated the song. So people don't actually remember the up-and-coming artist, they actually remember the artist themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure, and if you want to do such a thing, you need to be able to do it in such a way where there's a balance. So the artist can actually shine through, you know what I mean, or bring them up. Yeah. So you also have to kind of know when to kind of, and how to support them. Yeah.
I know a few instances like that. Yeah. I won't mention. But some of them intentionally want to, take the limelight or take the spotlight from the artists that they're supposed to be projecting to the world. Some of them, probably it's not intentional, and it just so happens that they've got a more dominating or a stronger image than the artist that they're trying to project, and it actually ends up overshadowing that artist, and that's really true. But I think the best thing, in my opinion, tell me if you agree, is for you to have a good team, like you mentioned earlier. Yes. And for you to be having a good team is not just having the professionals around you to suggest stuff to you. You have to have a team that's competent enough for you to literally let go.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you see, nowadays talent is never enough. You can be the most talented guy, but without the right team with you, and it's a trust thing as well, because sometimes people have come out of a bad situation, and when they're trying to kind of recoup and regroup, trusting people is very, very hard for them, and so and that's and that always comes through when they're kind of dealing with other artists and stuff. And it's also this industry can be very dodgy, because the artists that you strive and you do a lot of stuff, things just happen at the drop of a hat. I've had instances where, I've got record label owners who've supported artists and they've done so many things, and at the drop of a hat, the artist is left.
He's up and gone.
And not looked back. Yeah. But at the time of them leaving them, they've made a name for themselves. So they just go away and they don't look back. And all the money, all the investments and everything, it's just like, that's the thanks you get.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a very tough industry, you know, and I don't know. It's one way one has to just be very, very mindful, you know. And if you are going to embark on the journey, just make sure you're doing it for all the right reasons, you know.
And being passion, is it passion or money?
Well, it could be a combination. I mean, nowadays, you know, the industry now is making enough money for everybody to live off.
Yeah.
So I mean, the passion is good, but you know, you could also make it work and make it count and make it worth your while. Yeah. You know, so yes, I think passion is always a good starting point.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously, it has to make dollars.
Yeah, of course, it has to. It has to. Do you feel? Okay, we know entertainment is making a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Do you feel content plays a big role? And by content, I mean positive music. Can you make money putting out positive music?
Yeah. I mean, even these big artists in this industry of ours who are still putting out good music, if you listen deep enough, some of the tracks actually have, maybe not the whole track, a couple of lines that kind of talks about some of the social issues happening on within the society. Yeah. I mean, Techno is a typical example where, you know, he's talking about invest for your, one of the tracks, you know, talking about invest for your country and
all
that.
I know that song.
So there's a couple of tracks, there's a couple of one-liners or two-liners here and there. I mean, it all depends on what one defines as, you know, positive music. Is it socially conscious music? You know, and the question is it life imitating art or art imitating life? You know, because some of these things that happen, you know, it's just reality. True. You know, people want to go out, people want to go clubbing, and people want to have a good time. So some people don't even bother listening to the lyrics, and some people just want feel good music. Exactly. You know? So even that feel good music can be positive because it's making someone feel good. The content might not necessarily be social conscious music. Yeah. But the fact that you're making someone feel good is a positive thing, right?
Yeah, true.
It's not killing somebody, but you're going someone's not having a nice day because your music is making them feel good, you know?
Yeah, true. You're a DJ, yeah? So this definitely is an appropriate question. And you're the pertinent person to actually to answer it, if you can. Do you feel it makes sense for an artist to pay a DJ to play his music?
No.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. Because it clouds one's judgment. But I know it's a thing in Nigeria, right?
Yeah, it is.
Where people are getting paid because, you know, your music should, you know, should speak for itself. You shouldn't be paying people to do because it just clouds one judgment. And as a DJ, you're there for the music, and you should be able to pick out what's good and what you're not feeling based on your personal experience and opinion and all that stuff. So once you start paying for things, you kind of let your guard down. Yeah. And certain things that you probably wouldn't let go because it's all about the power of the dollar or the power of the money, you're letting that go through. And that guy it doesn't, you know, your pedigree as a DJ kind of, you know, and that's what happens a lot in Nigerian, and that's why sometimes music that shouldn't be on air is ending up on air because the person has more money than sense. Yeah. You know, and that's what's happening. That's what I think.
Yeah. Wow. I wasn't expecting you to agree with me.
Oh, so you're on that same page.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
But it's a Nigerian thing, you know, and Nigeria, sometimes the Nigerian industry is survival of the fittest because some of these radio artists, let's be honest, some of them don't get paid a lot.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
You know, and as if they even get paid, and it's all about survival for them. So for them, it's not to them getting some change off of the guy who's about to blow, who they think is about to blow, to them is just trying to stay alive in the jungle, you know, and that's the reason why they do it. So the moral compass changes because when you see the morality changes when it becomes about survival. So for you and I, we can go away, we've got other things we're doing, and the monetary and things are not an issue, but for people like them who are doing it from every day, all day, and hardly getting paid, and they need to feed their family, they need to pay rent, they need to do all this stuff. To them, that's a means to an end. And they say the ends always justifies the means.
Yeah, true. Wow. I do pity a lot of Nigerians, you know, because we know how things are financially for a lot of people, especially the ones that've got talent. Not being able to afford to pay someone to play your song.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but my argument has always been this: social media has changed. There's been since the advent of social media. There's a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to go to these people to get. They're not the custodians of this music anymore. You can actually build your own fan base if you know how to work your own social media.
Yeah.
That's my strong belief.
Yeah.
You know, just make sure it works. You know how to use it, understand what it is. You know, look at the data analytics, see where your audience are based. You know, put good stuff out there.
Yeah.
And it'll find you.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, agreed. But you mentioning stuff like data analytics and your, say, SEOs.
Yes.
It's not the language that every artist who's trying to come up with understands in Nigeria. So how will someone go when you're trying to educate someone who's coming from Ajegunle or from Okoko Michael, who's got maybe an uncle that just gave him 15,000 naira to go into a studio to make a single, and probably their first foray into the social media land is when a friend of his opened an Instagram account for him.
Yeah. No, it's a fair point, because I've always believed in the power of YouTube. You know, if you feel, but it's also understanding where the power lies. Once you understand where the power lies, then you take time out to kind of understand. There are so many people who have actually discovered social media and their life has never been the same.
Agreed.
And it's because they took time out. And how did they do it?
Yeah.
They came from obscure, places and just. They sat down and they said, okay, this social media, there are people making so much from it. So let me sit down, and learn how this is done properly.
Yeah.
You can't do everything all the time. I understand.
Yeah.
But obviously having a bit of knowledge, knowledge is key.
It is key.
So once you have that knowledge, you can actually build that sort of springboard that elevates you to the next level, rather than waiting for that person or relying on this person, to kind of give you that opening or let you blow and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. That. Yeah, I hear you.
No, you can disagree with me.
Yeah, no. I agree with you totally. But the thing is, when it comes to things like this, these sort of topics, because I've seen both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I've seen the guys who can pay for 12 albums at once if they want to. I've seen the ones who can hardly find, can put together change to pay someone for a session in the studio.
Yeah.
So another thing I feel is not a good thing is the whole mentality of I need someone, regardless of where the source of this person's money is from, to sign me. And whatever it is he wants me to do, I'm ready to do it because I want to blow. It's because of the poverty, yes, agreed.
Yes.
But I still don't think you should be able to, or you should have to sell your soul just because you want to leave poverty.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is happening now.
Absolutely. But you see the juxtaposition with illicit money and music has always been very, very closely lived.
Yep.
Even in hip hop, the days of Curtis Blow and Fat
Kumo
Cat
D.
Nichols.
Yeah.
So if you know the street guys in New York and Harlem back in the days, these guys used to go. They used to end up in the same club. These guys used to work mink and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And some of these guys are the ones who started putting money into some of the hip hop before them corporates came in.
Yeah.
So there's always been that sort of interesting sort of position where, the source has always been but you don't care because you're doing the good music and you're doing something, you're doing creative stuff.
Yeah.
But you just want to make sure that it's worth your while and it's paying your bills and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, it's always how does one police that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
How does because if a person who you don't know the source of income decides to set up a record label and he's got everything in it, he's got you know, all these beautiful stuff,
Yeah.
you know, equipment, studio, anything, and you're an artist. You know, all you want to do is just go and make good music, right?
Yeah, true.
So how do you now say, oh, where did you get your money from? I heard you're a G boy. You know, you don't want to do that. You just want to make good music. And, you know, and if this is an opportunity for you, I don't know. So I'm thinking, how would you now where do you draw the line?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You know?
And that's the reason why, you know, I guess it's that prevalent in Nigeria, you know?
Yeah, it's Nigeria sometimes it can be a jungle, you know, when it comes to certain things, you know. So it's just about being very careful and, you know, as they say, shine your eye.
Yeah.
You know, and make sure that the deal, I mean, I'm more interested in the deal you're signing, make sure it's worth your while and you're not signing your whole life away, you know what I mean? Rather than, you know, how did they get their money? I'm more about
But a lot of them don't even care. They don't care about the contract.
It's true.
All they care is, regardless of what's in this contract, how much am I getting?
The advance. Buy me a house in Lekki, rent me a house. That's what they do. And that's what these, you know, up-and-coming labels do. They sign the artist, they pay 2 years rent for them, they give them a nice car. Sometimes it's actually from their fleet of cars, but they give it to them to ride around. They look good. It's all about the impression. You know, perception's everything.
Yeah.
You know, they have to be seen to be looking good, and it's on the come up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very, very important because if the perception's not right, people don't believe in you.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting because, you know, over here people play down their wealth, but in Africa they play up their wealth.
Yep.
Even in the politicians, the politicians have to be they have to be seen to be rich and very wealthy.
Yeah.
And they want to go in because they say, I don't need your money. But over here, you play down your Eton educated, your Oxford education, the fact
And you still see them on the train sitting beside you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They play it down, but they play it up in Africa.
Yeah.
I know, it's very interesting.
Is it the black? It's a black thing. It's not. Is it a black thing? It's a black thing, isn't it?
Is it a black thing? Or
Because okay, let's put it this way: if you, off the top of your head, if you were to name 12 white superstars right now, if they were to come to mind, how many of them in your image in your head would you see wearing ice? I bet you very few, maybe one or two.
Yeah.
If you were to name 20 hip hop moguls now, I'm not talking about the ones who right now have matured in age and also have matured in character. Yeah, we're not talking about them. Talking about the new guys and even the Jay-Z's when they were in their teens.
But see, to someone like Jay-Z, his argument will be he was actually depicted a certain character. You had to be kind of braggadocious, you had to be brash in the hip-hop game.
Yeah.
That's what it That's what it took for him to be that person.
Yeah.
For people to kind of now feed into and believe in what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So he had to kind of adopt that sort of persona.
Yeah.
So that's his argument, and that's what he will probably tell you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, nevertheless, he still wore the bling.
Okay, how about the other 19?
It's
you get what I'm saying?
But I don't know. I think people are big, but you also do have the conscious ones, the commons of this world.
Very few. They are there, but they're few is the point.
You know.
And what I'm trying to get at is the mentality. When you have, when you're trying to do an analysis, before you can come to an informed conclusion about, say, a majority or population, you take the majority out of that population to now define how that population is.
Absolutely.
Which is which is why I still think it's a black thing.
Right.
Because the majority of us are into, you know, things that are transient, annoying things, material things.
Yeah.
It's look at our videos, Nigerian videos, Afrobeat videos. They're more American than American now.
Yeah.
The way we dress.
But is that playing to a standard rather than just showing off? So because the Americanization of some of these videos and the cultural hegemony of these things, they have to kind of for them to hit that mark, do they have to play it up to that level? Is that why they're doing what they're doing? Rather than, so that becomes the industry standard rather than them saying that this is why I'm doing it. Bling, bling.
I think it's only an act when you can clearly demarcate between acting and real life. But when you're like that, when the cameras are off, when you think the same way, then it's a problem. So and you see a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I think it's a black thing.
Yeah.
My question now is, how do we go about changing it? I've tried because there was a time when I was in that bracket as well, when everything was, I have to have this sort of watch, I have to have this sort of shoe, I have to. But at a certain point, the wheel has to come off your eyes. And you have to realize that,
But I think it's beginning to change.
You think?
I think. Okay.
I'd like to know why.
Yeah. So I tell you why I'm thinking it's changing, because I think starting from hip hop, Jay-Z is now talking about investing in all these sort of stuff, and there seems to be a younger generation who I'm seeing online who are now doing a lot of investments and building houses and investing in stuff. And a lot of, I mean, I'm talking about 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds who are doing this. So I know the majority, like you rightly pointed out, are still of that kind, but there are a couple of people who are doing positive things, who are not just about wearing the bling, who know about the future and you know, capital gains and how to invest in stocks and shares, you know, and all that good stuff. People, I've seen a couple of young people who are, you know, giving out that positive message, whether it's trickling into the hip hop and our industry. It's a different thing, you know what I mean? Because I know that they're slightly two different things, because you know the industry now is slightly different, you know, and the people who are just doing this stuff are of a certain, you know, they're not necessarily hip hoppers or artists themselves, but a couple of artists are also investing in, like, you know, franchises and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I think we need to kind of talk about that a bit more, you know, and get people to start thinking about that. Have you thought about, before you spend that 100 grand on that watch, have you thought about putting that 100 grand away? Because this music is not forever.
Exactly. Yeah, man. So I hear you, man. I hear what you're saying.
But even the Nigerian artists are beginning to kind of, you know, they're also trying to start investing. You know, they're building houses now. Yeah. You know, not a lot of them, you know, but some of them are beginning to kind of wake up and realize that, yes, I need to start investing in my future, because the music industry, like, you know, it's not for the long run. If you're lucky, if you get 10 years, you know, once that 10 years is up, then people start to, you know.
Yeah. Exactly, which is why I was saying earlier that this entertainment game is transient. Yes. It's ephemeral. It's here one day, it's gone the next. Yeah. So you have to think, and part of the ways where you can actually solidify your future and the future of your kids and the ones coming behind you is knowledge.
Absolutely.
Education. You don't have to go to a university anymore.
No.
Take time, rather than go on Instagram to look for all the girls with the biggest fake behinds. Go online and try to read something, man.
Yeah.
The knowledge is in the books.
Yep. Definitely.
Man.
Definitely.
Do you know how the internet age, it can be, you know, you can use it either way. Yeah. It's either it's good or bad. Yeah. But if you check the advantages of having internet,
it's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. Honestly, it is.
Wow.
I mean, I've let so much stuff on YouTube I couldn't believe I could do. You know what I mean? I'm such, you know, I could fix things just by watching YouTube videos. I'm thinking to myself, wow. You know, and some of the history lessons I've just learned just watching YouTube videos, I mean, it's out of this world. Yeah. Honestly, it's out of this world.
Dude, I'm telling you, our peers in Nigeria, in the entertainment industry, there are many, not a few, there are many of them that don't know how many, if you were to ask them, don't know how many countries are in Africa.
Wow.
I kid you not.
Wow.
There are lots of people in Nigeria that do not know basic things. The most basic things, they don't know them. The youth coming up, a lot of them, not all, let me stress, not all. A lot of them do not read. They hate reading. It's like it hurts their brain if you have to read something that is not music or Nollywood or anything to do with pouting or Nicki Minaj or if something that makes sense, anything that's logical, it hurts their brains.
Right.
How does one begin? Okay, take for example, with the most recent thing that happened, which I can kind of link to it, is the Naira Marley thing.
Right.
Rugged man, he was kind of, you can get the angle he was coming from. You know what happened, right?
Yes, I definitely kept.
You could get the angle he was, where he was coming from. If you really dissect it, he wasn't saying anything bad. He was trying to say, doing fraud is a bad thing.
Yeah.
But if you check the comments underneath his videos, where he actually said it's wrong to do Yahoo, it's wrong to do G. Wow.
Very negative. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, social media is a funny one.
Oh my God, man.
It's deep, you know what I mean? Sometimes I just try and stay my lane. You know what I mean? And just, definitely, I totally agree with you. I mean, that was a very, very interesting episode. How things just kind of
went out of control. Yeah.
Into a lot of things. Yeah. And, people putting blame on this person, blame on that person. And it was very interesting to see how that kind of got out of hand very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
But there is a lesson to be learned from that, and I hope the people who saw that unfold are learning whatever key lessons they have to learn from that, because it's not about the social life. There's social media life, and there's real life.
Agreed.
And there's inside life.
Yes, agreed. And you become delusional if you don't know how to separate one from the other.
Oh yeah.
Then you'll have a problem.
Yeah, and that's happening a lot because people are doing things for social media hype. You know what I mean? It's amazing because people are doing things just to get a lot of likes. And I'll be honest, I sometimes put stuff up because I want a couple 1-2 likes just to make me feel good. No, it's the reality.
I'm not judging you, man.
It's the reality. But even I read somewhere that even Instagram was going to reduce the likes of people or take away likes so people could just view your picture and you not even knowing whether they viewed it or not.
Wow.
And just to kind of reduce it because people were doing so many crazy stuff just to get a couple of likes.
But I bet you one of the reasons why they wouldn't dare do that is because because there's a science to it. Our brain releases dopamine each time you see someone like your.
Yeah.
So it's a way of actually getting us more addicted to their platforms. So they would never.
Yeah, because I noticed they spoke about it at length. You know what I mean? And even CNBC did it as a news feature, but it never came into fruition. So I'm thinking to myself, that's very interesting. They probably just thought about it and they canned it.
Nah,
it's not a good idea.
Nah.
People go off as us.
You heard the bottom line.
Because the market, because the social media influencers, if they're not getting these numbers through, the products and everything else is going to be affected, right?
Exactly.
But do you know that people make full-time money from Instagram?
Of course. Even Niger, I know a lot of Niger
influencers.
Yes, that's oh man, I hate that thing. I hate that term.
But they are influencers.
They are. But you can influence positively, or you can influence negatively. Majority of them influence negatively. So it's not calling them influencers is. It's more like you should call them influencers. They make a lot of money. A lot of money where they're charging you the Naira equivalent of about 50 to 100,000 Naira per post.
That's a lot. That's like 100 and something pounds per
mad.
Post. So if you put 5 posts a day, wow.
You're good.
Oh, yes.
You're good.
Some IT guys don't even earn that as a contractor.
No. I even know of a girl here in the UK. She's a model. She charges £5,000 per post.
5,000.
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong job.
Like,
Wow. 5,000.
£5,000 per post.
Wow. Wow.
£5,000 per post.
That's interesting.
Madness. Just for
But that's the
taking
world
a
of
picture.
social media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
But
know?
it gets to you, isn't it? Because if you see her now, you probably, if you want to remember her, you probably have to be seeing her every day.
Right.
Because every other day she's either done something to her lips, or she's done this. She changes like the weather.
Wow. But it's also becoming a bit of an addiction in its own right, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Because you're also beginning to kind of get addicted to things and you'll have to do things for the fame.
Yeah.
You know.
It doesn't help when you can afford it. Imagine a kid who has, you know, all the freedom you can ever want as a child, and you've got the money, all the money you can ever want, and you've got the right to actually spend it. That is a dangerous child.
Wow.
And that's what's happening now.
Wow. Wow.
Because a child is a child for a lot of reasons. One of them, because you can't really tell right from wrong.
Right.
A lot of us made too many mistakes when we were younger. When we were teenagers, we made too many mistakes.
Wow.
And then there might be a few people who were actually that rich then,
Yeah.
but a lot of us weren't.
No, we're
So-
just middle class or
Exactly.
working class.
So imagine we had that sort of money then. We would have. Some people, dare I say, might have died based on the kind of decisions they would have made
Yeah.
at the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, education. That's the way.
It's the key.
Yeah.
Education is key.
It is.
It
is.
So it's very important that we all kind of educate and give back. And then it goes back to my bit about empowering. I think I enjoy the empowering bit and just giving them that sort of guidance. you
Yeah.
know. And I'm not saying that they don't know, but sometimes, just based off of one's experience, just sharing that with people,
Yeah.
it just stops them from
It goes a long way.
making that, not making that same mistake.
A
again.
long way. It does. It goes a long way. DJing, because I know you're very good at it. I know you're very good
Thank
at it.
you.
No, you're welcome, but I know you're very good at it. I'm not even blowing your bubble, man. The thing is that a dying art? The
No.
true sense of DJing?
No, it's an evolving art.
Okay.
So it's something that one has to, it's just going through an evolution, and as social media is coming and as new technologies are coming into place, it's also evolving, and some people are purists in many forms, like people are turntablists and they want to kind of stick to the art of turntablism and, which is fine, and that's still okay. But it's if you're not moving with the times, you just have to, because what's happening is, as technology has moved on, so has turntablism. So although you still have the vinyl, you've got the turntable there and you're scratching, but you're not just scratching with a vinyl, you're actually scratching with music from a laptop. So it's changed the way.
The
things are.
MP3s.
You know what I mean? So that's all changing. So is DJing dying? No, it's just evolving. And it's evolving into very many little formats. Turntablism is still there. The art of turntablism is still there.
Yeah.
But there are other bits that are coming into it, because even to a larger extent now, some of the technologies that they're building, like the controllers and stuff, you can actually recreate and reinvent music and recreate your own sound. So you're technically a bit of an artist in your own right. So DJs are now becoming artists.
Yeah.
In many ways than one. So it's all about understanding where you kind of fit as a DJ within that spectrum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you going to go down that route of turntablism? Are you going to be that person who's going to recreate music or add something else? For me, what I do is, for me, DJing is all about experiencing. For me, you come to me or you come to a gig of mine and you want to experience something, and I want to
give you an experience.
Exactly. You want to walk away and think, because I'll play the normal music that's out there, but I'll play it slightly differently. I'm always looking for something. I'm always looking for that beats that I can put underneath, whether it's an old school beat or the new school beat.
Yeah.
And I could put it together, and and you will never think, oh, I didn't know that will go together. It's all about an experience for me. So you walk away feeling like you've had a DJ Gabe experience, and that's what I kind of
I
what
like
it's all
that
about
DJ
for me.
Gabe experience. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I guess that's what I meant about is the art dying, because people like you have that creative side to DJing, where you tend to use your imagination to want to blend two songs which probably wouldn't mix, and you make it sound good together. Now, isn't it a bit more digital, where we're reliant on the technology to actually do it for us? That's what I meant about dying.
But the truth of the matter is that having that helping hand within the art form has always been there. So back in the days, there used to be, before the beats per minute, the BPMs, they used to have this Bible, this sort of BPM Bible of discos. Yes, when you couldn't beat match, before technology came in, you had a Bible of BPMs of disco songs, and it listed all the BPMs there. So if you were a beat matcher, or you knew how to kind of blend songs, you just needed to know what the BPMs were.
Wow.
So you go through the Bible, you go through this BPM. So that
and you just mix by BPM. That's it.
So once you know what BPM goes with one BPM, you kind of you can mix and you can blend, you can beat match and all that good stuff. It makes life a lot easier for you, because once you know what you're dealing with, you know how to kind of arrange the songs and stuff. So what I'm trying to say is the helping hand has always existed, even before technology came in full time. It's always been there. So it's what you do with that helping hand that makes the difference. You know what I mean? It's one thing to have a helping hand; it's what you do with it.
True.
And I think that's quite key.
True. And in regards to monetizing that skill, I know the point of entry now is very, very low.
Very low.
Very low, yeah.
100 quid, you're sorted.
See that?
150, you're sorted.
Yeah, which is a good thing. Yeah. But in terms of monetizing, how easy is it to monetize as a DJ now? Is it lucrative to actually be a DJ? Not a superstar DJ, but an upcoming DJ.
Yeah, there's so much stuff you could do as a DJ. You could make mixes, put it on SoundCloud. Well, you could also...
Can you make money off of that?
Yeah, you could have a paid premium SoundCloud. You could put music on.
Wow.
And just...
Do you need to have the rights to that, or is it something that you have to get maybe the...
Permission, you could seek permission, because if you're a DJ, you have like fair usage policy, where that allows you to kind of do a quick mix, and under the fair usage policy, you can actually get a pass for using
Oh, nice.
that, But also what you could also do is you could also target also up-and-coming artists, and get them to kind of, you could mix their music and, try and push them out and work on a sort of percentage and stuff like that.
Nice.
So there's so many other ways you could, you could do your video mix as well, put it online, I mean, even if you get a couple of hits on YouTube, you don't necessarily have to sell it, but if you start getting like 1,000 to 2,000 hits, you can start advertising and you could get a little income stream that way. So that's one of the ways you could do.
How about like doing gigs and events, like small parties, birthday parties, marriage, wedding ceremonies? What is it the typical price range for an upcoming DJ? Reason why I ask is there'll be people who are watching this now who are actually, looking into getting into being a DJ and thinking, if you make money on top of this thing.
Definitely. I think it's all about your network is always your net worth. Because everybody that starts out, has a price. So it's all about you identifying what your value is and just going with it. So some people feel like, they start at 500 quid. That's what their value is, and they go with that. Some people think it's 300 quid and they go with that. So it's all about you kind of identifying your value and making sure that, whatever it is you're charging, you're bringing that to the table. You know what I mean? So, when I started out DJing, I did a couple of free gigs for family members, a friend of mine here and there, because I felt like I needed to do that. You know what I mean? But not everybody needs to do that. You know what I mean? So if you feel and believe in yourself and you believe in your talent, and
Yeah.
people have seen that, you could charge,
Yeah.
anything.
I think it'll be a good thing to do, because that's another thing I wanted to ask you, that how do you practice? I know you can practice on your own with your headphones in the bedroom, but you need some sort of validation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it safe to go to the usual demographic, which is friends and family first?
No. Go to people that don't know you so that they can give you an honest opinion. Friends and family will cheer you on because that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
They just say, yeah, you're good, you're great. But are you really great? So, but like again, so the internet has made it easy. You could put your quick mix online, or you could just show yourself doing a little quick mix, put it online, see the comments you get, and just take it from there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
It's
you have to be thick-skinned, though, because
you have to be. I mean, using social media, you just have to be thick-skinned. Period.
people are.
Yeah, people are harsh, and sometimes that's the reality you need. But like you said, if you're not thick-skinned, that can knock you out.
Yeah, you can.
And you could just say, you know what, I'm not doing this
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
And that's it.
What has been your mantra? One thing that you live by that gets you through, especially now that we're talking about how evil or how cruel people can be online. What is that one thing that you put, say, on your sticky note on your ceiling when you wake up?
Feel the fear and do it anyway. If you need to do it, just do it. Don't worry about it.
Word.
That's it. Just do it. Because what's the worst that could happen?
Exactly.
Just do it anyway. That's it. And you win some battles, you lose some battles. I've been to gigs where I've done amazing, and people just felt like, the way they came to me, they felt like, like everything.
Yeah.
And there've been gigs I've done. I thought to myself, that wasn't good. That wasn't the best. But I've won more battles than I've lost. And that's always the balance.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of getting that balance and making sure you learn from whatever it is life throws at you. You know what I mean? And you're always constantly humble about things and making sure that it's not all getting to your head and people hyping you up and you think you're the best thing since sliced bread, and you just lose your morals, you lose your values, you lose your focus. It's very important.
What's the worst gig you've ever been to? Is there a worst one? In terms of experience, did you get?
Well, I was on the phone. I remember back in the days when I used to use CDs. I was on the phone with a promoter who I was trying to do a gig for, and I was going to a wedding in Croydon. And then those days I used to have massive CD bags. So I was loading up the car, the phone in my ear, and my other hand trying to load up the car. So I had this wall where I parked the car, and there's a wall where I just put all the CD. So I loaded up like 2 of the bags, and I was still on the phone, and I sat by the driver's seat, and I just chatted. And after I said, okay, I'll speak to you later, and I just hung up and drove off. So I had my 2 big main bags of CDs on the wall, and I drove all the way to Croydon. All the way to Croydon. I couldn't. And luckily for me, the bride and the groom had already sent me a list of songs, so I'd already created a playlist using a CD. So I put that in the car. So I had that. So I had just the 2 bags I took were the smaller bags, so the main bags were in there. So I actually called one of my friends to go and look at it up there. Couldn't find anything. Couldn't find it. That was an experience. And that day was the day I changed from using CDs to laptops.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. I eventually found it. One of my neighbors picked it up.
Oh, nice.
But I had to go to that gig with not my normal arsenal. Just a small thing. And I was so hard.
And praying the CD doesn't skip.
Oh, my God. That had to be one of the...
Wow.
But even the person I actually did the gig for didn't know to this day.
Oh, my God.
So it was an experience. I don't wish that on my enemy. Imagine you just, or maybe your laptop. That's never happened to me, touch wood, where your laptop crashes.
Oh, man.
But I've heard a lot of DJs laptop crashes.
I've actually been at a gig where that happened.
Wow.
Terrible.
Wow.
Terrible. Terrible. So it's technology has its ups and it has its downs.
Yeah, definitely.
But man, it was Yeah, no. It was fun talking to you, man. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Likewise,
Definitely,
thanks
you have
for
to.
having me. Yeah,
you have to come back.
Yeah,
You definitely
we
have
could
to come
talk
back.
on and on and on.
Yeah,
you
I
know
know,
what
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
but it's good. It's good to have you. Though.
I know.
I mean, good to have me.
Yeah,
on your
good to
show.
have you.
Life plus plus.
Yeah, man. So thanks for coming, man.
For having
And see
me.
you guys next week.